Daily XRP ETF, it's been on a tear since its launch earlier this month. It reached $25 million in AUM in just 9 trading days. And I'm pleased to say that Sal Gilberti, he is the CEO of Ducrium. He joins us now. Great to see you in person, Sal.
Ripple's a company of really professional people working really hard on this. That's why we chose XRP. We believe in XRP. We're not making a price prediction, but we do believe it's a coin that will have the most utility out there. Bitcoin is a store of value. I agree with Mike McGlone, but I think that XRP has a true use case. There's just no doubt about it. And the Ripple team, from the interaction we've had with them, they're really professional. They act like investment bankers over there. They know what they're doing, and they will make this work.
Absolutely bullish segment on Bloomberg today regarding XRP. That opening clip is the CEO of the firm that has that 2x XRP ETF product. It's doing quite well, by the way. And the CEO stated, we picked XRP for a reason, because this is the token with the most utility, with the big use case. And he also talked about how he believes in Ripple, the company, a company of professionals that he likened to investment bankers. And that wasn't the end of things either, by the way. Let's listen to this clip. Bloomberg's questioning, what's the use case of XRP? What's the point? And isn't XRP just a speculative instrument? And he sets him correct here. Listen to this. This is a breath of fresh air on Bloomberg to hear something like this.
Use case that you mentioned, because a lot of folks watching probably would have the reaction. The only use case for Ripple and some of these other tokens out there is speculation. So what is the actual use case of XRP?
Okay, so XRP, that's absolutely not the case. You can speculate in it because it's out there and trading. But XRP, they started Ripple, and I'm not going to speak for them, okay? But they started Ripple to facilitate transactions, moving money around, okay? But now it's literally helping tokenize everything. As they develop their level 2 build out, they are really going to tokenize everything. They've just bought a broker-dealer clearing member, as you may know, and I think that's the first step toward integrating traditional finance with DeFi. And I'm telling you, this is going to be a breakthrough. It is a breakthrough.
And he says, and it's going to take a while to tokenize the world, but he's telling the lady on Bloomberg, speculation, nothing. Not only do we have payments, and that's where Ripple really started with this blockchain, but it's much bigger than that. And it's what I've been telling you, that the name of the game is tokenization. That's where your big institutions, they want to jump in here and use blockchain to tokenize everything from stocks to real estate to precious metals, you name it, using this technology for fast and efficient trade and for managing investment portfolios. This is going to be just killer. He hits the nail on the head here. They're tokenizing the world, lady. This ain't about speculation. We see Ripple's RLUSD stablecoin surges onto Aave, one of my favorite DApps out there. 19 million supplied in only 24 hours. So it's gone live on the Ethereum network on Aave here, just one day after being listed. On Aave's V3 Ethereum core market, nearly 19 million worth of RLUSD has already been supplied and 4.68 million borrowed. This surge comes as Aave officially opened lending and borrowing for RLUSD. I know the naysayers are going to say, well, it's only about Ethereum. Yeah, I was livid when they were talking about only issuing on Ethereum and then later on pivoting back to the XRP ledger. That's not what happened. That's not how it's played out. And so now we have a multi-chain asset, starting with XRP ledger and the Ethereum blockchain, but it's going to expand from there. And the name of the game is interoperability. And as we go forward, it's going to be about linking the XRP ledger up to all these different blockchains, being a central hub of crypto and traditional finance. This is massive. This is just the opening volley to make the interoperable future. Again, with XRP in the center of this, bringing money into a global marketplace for trade, settlement, and payments, really. This is a big deal here. Cointelegraph. Now, we've been talking about this with Oregon. People are saying, what do I care about this? I don't really care about Oregon, but it's the political standpoint of, you know what? The attacks could come back if we don't get laws. But I really wanted to just show you this doofus, this Oregon general attorney. He looks like someone that would launch a case like this. And it's not only irritating that he's suing Coinbase once again after the SEC gets rid of this court case, but he throws XRP in there. Like a federal judge already ruled that XRP itself is not a security. And this guy, look at him. Look at this. Let me blow this up for you. This guy thinks he knows better than Judge Torres. Like, come on. He looks exactly like the type of guy that tries to come against the XRP army and just gets run over. He's not going to have any better luck than the rest of them. The European Central Bank warns President Trump his pro-crypto stance could trigger financial contagion that may destabilize Europe's economy. Look, you don't want a wild, wild west. You got to be thoughtful here. But having the SEC look at this space, having other regulators, having Congress write laws, that's not going to destabilize anything. That's just going to usher in the future of finance. And that's what has to be done here. They're full of it. It makes no sense if you have real regulations, real guidance. So your Coinbases, your Ripples, your Krakens, your BlackRocks, whoever, that they can build in a compliant manner. This kind of stuff is nonsense. They're absolutely wrong. Now, again, it can't be a free-for-all, but sensible regulations is not going to make the financial system more unstable. That's nonsense. We see, crypto investors, that's all we care about. Everyone looking, did Tesla sell any of their Bitcoin holdings? No, they did not. Still hold all of their Bitcoin, and no one cares about anything else within crypto. Cantor Fitzgerald, they team up with SoftBank, Tether, Bitfinex on a massive $3 billion Bitcoin acquisition fund. The CEO says they aim to replicate MicroStrategy's successful crypto investment model. Now, I hope they don't plan to just borrow to infinity and issue out all sorts of, preferred stock where they have no way they can pay those dividends, things like that. I hope they don't totally perfectly replicate MicroStrategy's, strategy. But I think we're going to see more big firms start going on a crypto acquisition tear. And it's not just going to be Bitcoin. Watch how this plays out. Yes, that will take up a big part of the investment portfolio, but they're going to pivot over to the broader crypto space, just like we saw the US. They have their Bitcoin reserve, but they also have their other altcoin portfolio. You're going to see the same thing with companies and people like this group here that understand this is the future, and they're going to violently acquire cryptocurrency. This whole space is going to go crazy. We see Raoul Pal saying the following: I love Solana, but SWI is my favorite child. And I've been saying this. We haven't talked about SWI a lot here recently. More trade war stuff going on, all sorts of things going on in the world. Don't forget about this blockchain. I'm telling you, and I've been saying this since Solana was actually, for some stupid reason, ahead of XRP, that Solana's going to do well. You're going to post growth this cycle, but you're going to see a lot of the people that are either heavy in Solana or claim to be, and they've already made the pivot and they're not disclosing that. You're going to see a pivot here at some point in time where they roll back to SWI, and SWI's going to be the big overperformer as we continue through this cycle. It's not going to be Solana. Yeah, it'll put on growth. It'll do fine. You're going to see ETFs for Solana. You see a lot of stuff, but SWI is the bigger one out of those two in terms of growth percentage, in my opinion. Just the way I see it. Let me know down below if you agree here. Mario saying the following: markets soar as President Trump suddenly decides Fed Chair Powell can stay. I don't know if that's exactly what he says. He just says that he's not going to fire him. Wall Street breathed a massive sigh of relief as President Trump abruptly reversed course on Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell, sending futures surging after markets closed on Tuesday. Look, to fire him, you're going to have to go to court. It would probably take longer than just to let him run out his course. I still say there is some chance that this Fed chair steps down. But either way, before we started this year, I said you'll see this little game where the president berates Jerome Powell. He claims he's not going to cut rates, and he is. He has to. For one reason, just the United States has to, refi so much debt this year. It's trillions and trillions of dollars. We got to play this game like we're not gonna. Those rates are coming down. It's just a question of exactly when. We're getting darn close, but they're going to have to do so. You can't bankrupt the country. It just can't happen. We will see that capitulation eventually. Jerome Powell, once a caver, always a caver. Pro-Bitcoin SEC Chair Paul Atkins said it is his top priority to provide a firm regulatory foundation for digital assets and to help make the U.S. a powerhouse for people to invest and for people to build on blockchain technology. This is a new era that's starting. Paul Atkins is going to be a big part of that. Best believe that. I like this post by Arthur Hayes. It's been surprising. Crypto's held up well. Bitcoin, with a lot of turmoil out there, done pretty darn good. XRP sticking strong. We see Arthur Hayes saying Trump says he wants to fire J. Powell, dollar dips, Bitcoin rips. Trump says he has no intention of firing J. Powell, dollar rips, Bitcoin rips more. And you saw the same out of XRP. It's kind of interesting as we've seen crypto decouple a little bit from your tech stocks, from your classic, risk assets. How long that keeps up for, I don't know. But it has been a strong showing for crypto. I know gold's kind of stole the spotlight here recently, but, I'm very impressed with cryptocurrencies. Lastly, same thing here. We see Mario, again, not firing Jerome Powell. I didn't think that was going to happen. I still question if he's going to be able to stick in there. But the olive branch has been extended, and immediately a 444-point jump in the Dow. We're not fully decoupled from traditional markets. We want the stock market to do well and generally not to have too much turmoil out there. We'll see it play out. You just don't know, but at least we get a little bit of relief here. We'll see if it continues. Let me know what you think down below. As always, please like, please subscribe. The revolution will be televised right here on Jungle Link.